Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Strobel channel. And FastPass.cn has finally released a dismantling for the PG4. So the PG4, as you guys know, is one of my favorite shoes to ball in. I haven't balled in a little bit, which I'm sad about. I really want to play some ball. But I mean, I really like playing in this shoe. If you guys want to check out the review, you guys can go check it out. So as you guys know, the dismantling from FastPass is probably one of the best that I've ever seen. And they do a really good job of detailing everything and separating all the tech in the shoe, you know, like the zoom units or whatever. So yeah, let's take a look at the cross-section cut of the PG4. So as you guys can see, there is a good amount of foam here in the tongue as well as in the ankle area. This heel part actually is very thick and very well padded, which feels really comfortable. Now, not a lot of shoes have this. A lot of shoes where they're super minimal here in the forefoot, I guess just throughout the entire upper, usually doesn't have a lot of foam here, but the PG4 does. And I also think that's part of the reason why the PG4 fits so snug, because all of this foam is probably pushing your foot forward a little bit because it's just so thick, and that's probably why the PG4 feels so short in length. You can see the shroud material, especially here on the medial side. The insole looks really thick, which is interesting. It looks a good amount thicker actually than normal insoles, and now that I actually feel it, it's pretty soft. And not only that, but you can see the full length air Strobel unit, which is my favorite. It looks like a regular air unit, so nothing special there. And then you guys can see the foam, and the foam also, especially in the forefoot, looks super duper thin. Like, look at that. It looks like it's 1 to 2 millimeters thick, and even in the heel, that looks around maybe like what, 10 millimeters thick, just for the foam, which is insane. And you guys can see the cutout here in the middle, where you can see the air sole unit from the bottom of the shoe. And then here is the shroud and the actual inner booty that's separated. So the shroud is just another material with a zipper. And then as you guys can see, it is a one booty upper with this like neoprene type of material. And then you can see the laces and the PG logo here in the tongue. I really like how they put the holes here into the mesh. It's like a hollow mesh material. And you don't really need any type of material. You don't really need any type of like support, containment, or anything here on the medial side. So all you got to do is make it super thin, and I like what they did there. And it just gives it a really different aesthetic. It allows for a lot more color combinations from the medial to the lateral side, which I think is also really cool. And then we can see kind of like the eyelets, but the eyelets are connected to these like straps, which are then stitched to the one booty upper. And of course that does improve lateral containment, but they also have it on the medial side, which is kind of weird. Like I said, it's kind of useless on the medial side, but they probably just did it for aesthetic purposes. And as far as the Strobel board goes, so it's weird because like if you look in the KD12, the KD12 has no Strobel board. Like if you remove the insole, you can see the zoom unit or the zoom Strobel unit directly. But then for the air Strobel unit, there's actually like a little type of material kind of similar to a Strobel board, I would say, but it's just like a polyester, and it's not really glued down or anything, so it doesn't make the air sole unit stiff. I think it's just there for like grip, because plastic, I feel like if the insole was just sliding over that air Strobel unit, it would slide around a little bit, so that's probably why they put it there. And then you can see the actual full-length air Strobel unit, which is awesome. So what's different from a zoom unit and an air unit? So zoom, the entire bag, like this plastic piece, this is from the PG3, by the way. If you guys saw the chop shop of the PG3s, it's an encasing of plastic, and then they fill it with air, right? But then you guys can see these strands that are connecting these plastic pieces. If these fibers or these strands weren't there, you know, air wants to bubble up like this, right? For example, if it's like this, and the fibers weren't there to actually hold the plastic like evenly, distribute the force evenly, then it would just bubble up here in the middle, right? So that's what the fibers do. They evenly distribute the pressure, I would say, and that also allows for a lot more like air pressure inside this unit. The air sole, as you guys can see, they didn't have the fibers yet, and the air sole unit is a lot older than the zoom unit, I believe. So what they did is they put a lot of holes into it, you know, and then the holes are like melted or welded to, it's not welded, but it's like the plastic is melted together so that it doesn't bubble up anywhere in the middle. So that helps evenly distribute the pressure throughout the air sole unit. But for some reason, I still love the air sole unit. Because of the lower PSI, it makes it soft while you're walking. And then once you start running, it gets a little bit bouncier. Obviously not as bouncy as the zoom unit. The zoom unit, like especially the full-length zoom Strobel, is just, the pressure is like super high, so that you feel that like, I guess, pressure or tension or whatever on your foot the entire time, which is really nice at first. But then when you start walking around or running around a lot, like 2 hours, 3 hours, and it gets a little uncomfortable for me personally. So that's why I like the airstable unit better. And then the thickness is 8 millimeters, which is actually kind of normal. Zoom units are usually around 8 to 10 millimeters thick. And then they added a TPU midfoot shank. And then there is the outsole. You know, the outsole, I wish they would have made it a little bit more durable. These nubs are pretty damn soft, but you know, there's that. As far as the overall cushion thickness goes, the forefoot is 17.96, so basically 18 millimeters thick. And then the heel is 24.96 millimeters thick, or basically 25, so 25 to 18, 7 millimeter offset. That's like around normal, I would say. And 18 millimeters in the forefoot and 25 millimeters, that's okay. The thinnest I've ever seen is like, I think 12 to 13 millimeters thick, which was like the Harden or like the Jordan 31, which was really, really thin. But 18 is still like not super thick. I believe the LeBron's like 24 millimeters thick in the forefoot, so it's still not super thick, and the court feel is still pretty good in the PG4s. And then another cool thing that they did here is they compared the Jordan 11 with the PG4. So they both use full-length air units. Then obviously the Air Strobel unit is more full length because it takes up the entire length of the shoe. So as you guys can see, the overall like shape of the holes is kind of the same, but there are a lot more holes in the Jordan 11. And as you guys can see, there's a lot less surface area of the air. So that's probably why it's harder to feel the unit in the Jordan 11, as well as it not being the Air Strobel unit, so it's not right underneath your foot. There's also a Strobel board, which is glued down and very stiff above the air unit in the Jordan 11. But another interesting thing is that in the heel, it looks pretty thick. It actually looks around the same thickness as the PG4 Air unit, so well, that's interesting. Yeah, in this close-up, you guys can tell that the distance between the holes is a lot greater, and there's a lot more surface area for that air to actually be felt by your foot. And then around the air unit, you guys can see some plastic, which helps stitch the actual upper to the midsole. So that's why it's called the Air Strobel unit. So it's acting like a Strobel board. So yeah, that is the dismantling of the PG4. I love the technology of them replacing the actual Strobel board and, you know, replacing it with the actual cushion so you can feel it a lot easier. I don't think they can do this with foams yet, because foams, the stitching will literally rip through. So yeah, that's the dismantling of the PG4. If you guys want a cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. It's a great performer. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.